I feel very compelled to say something about the fact that we're now going to have 2 worship services. We had made an intentional decision to start thinking about how we might move to just one combined shared service. We decided that for a lot of reasons. There were a lot of intentions behind it. The pandemic sort of threw us off. I think we were starting to move toward what might that shared worship look like? What might that working together, sharing the same service with different styles or formats or instrumentation? And we were starting to try and sort that out. And then the pandemic hit. And all of a sudden, we had to make some very quick decisions about how are we going to do worship right at this minute, not a month from now, not 2 months from now, but now. And within that first week during March, we immediately switched to doing live stream worship. Those first few weeks, it did not go very well. And we've definitely improved our ability to get the word out, to fix the sound so that most of the time you can hear us well. We've tried to do a whole bunch of other things. But in the meantime, we also have realized that our state is at phase 4, that we are at the point where more people are asking about, can we come back together in person? And so because of that, we have this unusual situation where we didn't intend to have 2 worship services for this fall. We thought we might be focusing on just one shared worship service. But the pandemic moved up the milestone and then also made us sort of have to think about how to do hybrid ministry. This is what I'm calling it, hybrid ministry, where some of it is online and some of it is in person. And because of that, we now have an online service and an in-person service. And I know there are people who struggle when we have 2 services because you don't always see the people, you don't cross over with the same people, it feels more disjointed. In this circumstance, we feel like it addresses the spiritual needs of a larger number of people, not just the spiritual, not just the music preferences or the style preferences, but literally the ability for somebody to have access to worship. So we want to make sure that we have both online and in-person opportunities, because there are some people who either are comfortable or at least have access online. There are also some people who will not have access to our worship services because of either their bad internet connection, no internet connection, or their inability to sort of manage those devices that would get them internet access. Because of that, we are doing 2 different worship services on every Sunday, starting this Sunday, September 6th. And we just hope that you'll be able to continue to experience this broader community as one community, even as we are sort of phasing in different places, different groups. It may not be that clearly only online people do that and only in-person people do that. It may be that we have some mixing and some blending, and I hope that over the months, people do feel the opportunity to be able to see a few folks in person. But for those that do not, I don't want there to be any pressure for anyone to feel like the only type of worship that's valuable is in person. We are worshiping as a community in multiple ways, in multiple opportunities, and I think that God's word is being spread further because of that. And I'm hopeful that in the meantime, as we're going through all of these sort of different phases and different growing pains, that we can all experience God's presence through this community as we worship, perhaps for now, in 2 separate ways, separate times, separate formats. May God bless you as you engage in worship.